This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Mosaic, a daily news program from Link TV, presents a selection of news reports from independent and state-controlled broadcasters from throughout the Middle East.
Barack Obama's been seeing the sights of Istanbul and charming his Turkish hosts with talk of change. The trip's over now. Anita McNaught's been following the US president's visit. We get the latest from her now. Anita.
Well, Kamal, the US president has actually left Istanbul. It was the last stop on his European tour. On that week-long tour, he had deals to make and policies to set, but he came to Turkey to rebuild relationships, not just with Turkey, but with the wider Muslim world. He touched on the issue of relationships and partnerships and policy repeatedly in the speeches he made here. And we wanted to know what Turkish Muslims wanted to hear from him and how close what they heard from the US president came to meeting their wishes.
I know there have been difficulties these last few years. I know that the trust that binds the United States and Turkey has been strained. So let me say this as clearly as I can. The United States is not and will never be at war with Islam.
With his speech in the Turkish parliament, President Obama hopes to begin undoing years of escalating hostility. It's what Turkish commentators told us they wanted to hear.
They should declare that the Muslim world is not in opposition and that they want to cooperate in finding solutions to shared problems, and for Muslims to be treated as equal partners.
Young Turkish Muslims who've only known an America mired in Iraq and who saw the US look on as Israel bombed the people of Gaza are the most skeptical about whether Obama really means change.
America, first of all, should stop thinking that this world is its village and that it's the sheriff.
We want to see America's conduct in the Muslim world, what it's going to do about the countries it's occupying, and whether it's going to take a stand over Israel's behavior in Palestine.
Obama should not use the word freedom because whenever Bush used it, bombs went off in Iraq and blood was spilled. What should Obama say? Their past is so dark, he should apologize for Bush.
So as President Obama boarded Air Force One, bound for Istanbul, Turks began to assess what they'd heard.
He gave the message to the Islamic world, the message that the Islamic world was expecting from him.
The problem, and President Obama is clearly aware of this, is not only have America's previous policies alienated Muslims, in a strategic sense they don't appear to have served the interests of the West or the United States either. And Turkey is not the Middle East. The country is Muslim majority, but its constitution is secular. A message well received here may still not change attitudes in the wider Middle East or beyond. So the question remains, is one man able to repair the damage?
U.S. President Barack Obama, who wraps up a visit to Turkey today, plans to visit Israel and the Palestinian Authority in June. This according to an exclusive report in Haaretz. The newspaper said a senior diplomatic official had confirmed the trip. U.S. Special Middle East Envoy George Mitchell will hold a series of meetings here ahead of the Obama visit. The Iranian nuclear program will be at the top of Obama's agenda. The American leader also plans to stress the importance of getting the Israeli-Palestinian peace process moving forward, something he emphasized during the speech to the Turkish parliament.
In the Middle East, we share the goal of a lasting peace between Israel and its neighbors. Now let me be clear, the United States strongly supports the goal of two states, Israel and Palestine, living side by side in peace and security. That is a goal shared by Palestinians, Israelis, and people of goodwill around the world. That is a goal that the parties agreed to in the roadmap and at Annapolis. That is a goal that I will actively pursue as President of the United States.
And speaking to a group of Turkish students today, Obama said Israelis and Palestinians must make compromises, adding that we have a sense of what those compromises should and will be. Joining me now in the studio to discuss the Obama visit to Turkey is Dan Diker, policy analyst with the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs. Dan, welcome.
Thanks, Yochanan.
Barack Obama in Turkey, he said that the Palestinians and Israelis are going to have to make some compromises. He knows what those compromises are. What's he talking about? Is he going to be more stringent with Israel than, say, his predecessor?
To be frank, Yochanan, I'm not sure that the president really knows what he's talking about yet. I mean, it's clear that he wants to continue the Bush administration's second-term policy, clearly, of a, what they call two states for two peoples. But when Israel finishes its policy review, which is in the middle right now, and meets with President Obama in Israel, apparently this coming June, according to reports, he will find that his declarations of a two-state solution, of compromises on both sides, is far more complex than he might imagine.
The Israeli Occupation Authority demolished today several Palestinian homes in Jerusalem. Israel claimed that the houses were either built without a building permit or were built in a no-building zone and lacked blueprints approved by the municipality of occupied Jerusalem. In addition, the Occupation Authority seized ancient Umayyad stones from the Holy Al-Aqsa Mosque. Our correspondent in the West Bank, Mahmoud Al-Farouk, has the details in the following report.
The Israeli Occupation Authority seized one of the largest ancient stones from the area of the Islamic Umayyad Palace located southeast of the Holy Al-Aqsa Mosque. This latest Israeli escalation is a serious and blatant aggression against the holy shrines of the occupied city of Jerusalem, where its residents are violated on a daily basis by the Israeli occupation and the Jewish settlers.
جاءوا بالأمس ليسرقوا هذا الحجر الأثري التاريخي.
They came yesterday and stole one of the ancient and historical stones, and they took it to an undesignated place. This is an attack on the Islamic civilization, an attack on Islamic antiquities, and an attack on the Islamic waqf, or endowment. It's also an attack on the Holy Al-Aqsa Mosque.
We are calling for international, Arab, and Muslim investigations into this Israeli violation and all other covert and overt violations.
Meanwhile, the municipality of Jerusalem used bulldozers to demolish the house of Imran al-Fuqari in the old city under the pretext that the home was built without a building permit. Hundreds of Israeli police officers surrounded the demolished house and ordered its residents to leave the area. In another development, the municipality of occupied Jerusalem issued eviction notices to dozens of Jerusalemite families, advising them that their homes are to be demolished.
The Israelis have demolished our home. God willing, we will rebuild it. They want to force us out of our home and out of the holy city of Jerusalem. Thank God we are determined to stay here and will not leave our home.
The Israelis don't want to see any Arab residents living in the country, especially in Jerusalem. They don't want us here. It is useless. Jews can go anywhere and live. Jews can go to Jericho, where they can confiscate land and settle. In contrast, we are not allowed to live in our own land or build homes. They want us out of here. Isn't it enough what they did to us in 1948? In 1948, I was 6 years old and I was barefoot when we were driven out of the area of Jubairah in the county of Ramlah. I ran barefoot because I was scared. We relocated to Jerusalem, where we lived in the Jewish quarter. Then a Jew by the name of Isra ordered us out of the neighborhood. Since then, we have been living here, and now we are facing eviction.
The Israeli High Court rejected an appeal filed by Al-Ghawi and Al-Hanoun families in the area of Sheikh Jarrah. The families requested the Israeli High Court to overturn a decision demanding them to evacuate their homes in order to allow a Jewish extremist group to move in. What is the use of filing an appeal with an Israeli court where the presiding judge is the occupation itself? Perhaps this is the only option left after the Palestinians lost all other means of defense. This intensifying attack on Jerusalem is part of the occupation's systematic policy, which aims at Judifying Jerusalem and expelling its residents in order to impose an apartheid state of affairs in the city.
A young Palestinian man was martyred and 3 Israeli soldiers were injured during confrontations that erupted today in the town of Sur Bahir in East Jerusalem. The Israeli police said that a young Palestinian man tried to run over the Israeli police with his vehicle. This took place as the Israeli soldiers and police were demolishing the home of Hussam Douayat, who carried out the bulldozer operation in July 2007. Joining us from Jerusalem, Ilyas Karam. Ilyas, how is the situation now?
The incident that led to the killing of Iyad Awasat from occupied Jerusalem occurred before the Israeli occupation authorities completed the demolishing of Hussam Douayat's home in Sur Bahir village. The Israeli occupation forces opened fire on Iyad Awasat from 4 sides. The Israeli police and occupation forces claim that Awasat tried to run over the policemen who were deployed there since the early hours of the morning near the demolished home. They claim that they were forced to respond by opening fire in order to prevent him from running over the Israeli soldiers. This incident led to clashes between the Israeli police and Palestinian young men who attacked the occupation forces with stones and whatever they had. The Israeli police responded with sound bombs and tear gas bombs. Large numbers of Israeli forces were at the scene since the early hours of the morning to secure the demolition of Hussam Douayat's home. He is accused of carrying out the bulldozer operation for nationalistic reasons. The operation is known as the first bulldozer operation in Jerusalem, which took place in July 2007, killing 3 Israelis and injuring others. The demolition was ordered by the highest court authorities in Israel, which comes in the framework of the home demolition policy, which is used as a deterrence for others who may carry out similar operations in the future.
We thank you, Ilyas Karam, who reported from Jerusalem.
A delegation from Fatah arrived in Gaza to conduct talks with Hamas and other Palestinian factions. The delegation includes Abdullah al-Afranji, a member of Fatah's Central Committee, and Marwan Abdul Hamid, Abbas's advisor on development and construction. The talks aim at overcoming obstacles, especially in regards to outstanding issues. Also, 2 American congressmen visited Gaza today to inspect the situation there after the latest Israeli war. Democratic Congressman Stephen Lynch and Republican Bob Inglis visited the American University, Azbet Abdurabu, and other UN buildings which were destroyed during the latest war. Joining us from Gaza, Tamer al-Mishal. Do you have details about the visit of the Fatah delegation and their meeting with Hamas officials?
The delegation has arrived to Gaza and they are now present there. Abdullah al-Franji, a member of Fatah's Central Committee, who arrived with Marwan Abdul Hamid, Abbas's advisor on development and construction, said that they have 2 missions. First, they would like to scrutinize the situation in Gaza as well as the process of reconstruction, which explains the presence of Marwan Abdul Hamid, Abbas's advisor on development and construction. The second mission, which is more important, refers to the internal Palestinian dialogue. The delegation will work to overcome obstacles and pave the way for continuing the dialogue where it was left off at the Cairo meeting. The Fatah delegation will meet with Hamas leaders in Gaza in the next few hours. This was confirmed by the leaders from both Fatah and Hamas, as well as those who organized Fatah's visit to Gaza. Independent official Yasser al-Wadi'i is one of the officials who participated in the organization of this visit. It is expected that Fatah's meeting with Hamas will take place tomorrow. This meeting is important because because it will take place in Gaza, unlike previous meetings which took place outside the Palestinian territories such as Cairo or Yemen. Ordinary Palestinians have great interest in these meetings, but they care more about the results of these meetings and their effects on the ground. There are high hopes that these meetings will help the two factions overcome obstacles and end the state of division. Palestinians have long been waiting for this reconciliation, especially when considering the challenges posed by Israel throughout the West Bank, Gaza, and abroad.
We thank Tamer al-Mishal, who joined us from Gaza.
Palestinian divisions and the conflict between Fatah and Hamas were embodied in a comedic performance during the activities of the 15th Days of Amman Theater Festival. The Palestinian theater performed the Gaza Ramallah skit, which is a new Palestinian experiment of what is internationally known as stand-up comedy.
The name of our skit describes our performance: the state of Gaza and the state of Ramallah. We're the only people in the world with two nations. Please don't be jealous. Spare us from the jealous people.
Palestinian culture has historically recorded resistance literature, but it has not recorded satire about reality, which was presented in what is internationally known as stand-up comedy, performed for the first time on the Palestinian stage. The act was the result of the Palestinian divisions, which was reflected by the Gaza Ramallah skit in a satirical way, which criticizes the reality of the divisions between the Fatah and Hamas movements.
Our new catastrophe is the divisions. It is even more dangerous than the catastrophe of 1948. It is more dangerous because it will extend generations. This is why Gaza Ramallah is so important. The Gaza Ramallah skit does not try to appease anyone.
I feel that when the Palestinian public sees an actor get up on stage and talk about the daily struggles in the form of comedy, they can get it off their chest.
Excuse me, where's Gaza?
Ask Khalid Mashal.
And where's the West Bank piece?
I swallowed it.
Why did you swallow it?
Is Ahmed Karai better than me?
The Gaza Ramallah skit, which excels in its daring and sharp criticism of the divisions and the condition of the corruption, as well as the Arab and international ineptness toward the Palestinian plight, poked fun at this reality with a set that cost less than $20.
Let's imagine that Palestine is this watermelon. The kids came and cut the watermelon in half. In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate.
We produced the act and performed it at our own personal risk. If we were to ask for support, then there would be some hesitation because our performance is bold, critical, arrogant, and it uses sharp language.
The richness of the bold performance, which broke taboos, used in its script the actions, stories, and ongoing events taking place in Palestine. The daring performance may have broken some taboos, but it has not broken through the division itself. Ghassan Abuluz, Al Arabiya, Amman.
April 6th, from Facebook to reality on the ground. Egyptians answer a call. A report from Cairo from our colleague Muna Ashmawi.
It was the start of an angry popular uprising known as April 6th Day, when a group of young people invited others to participate through Facebook. The call was echoed by many sectors of the Egyptian society and political parties. mainly workers and university students. They took to the streets demanding change in their economic and political situations. Last year, the demonstrations were violent and resulted in nearly 1,000 people going to jail. This year, however, the office of the spiritual leader of the Muslim Brotherhood was closed. Independent parliament members and Muslim Brotherhood members boycotted the parliament sessions. They also boycotted a speech made by the Prime Minister in the parliament.
تحت قبة البرلمان.
البؤس يزيد، الفقر يزيد، الجهالة تزيد، حجم مصر الكبير.
There is increasing misery. Poverty is increasing. Ignorance is increasing. The great Egypt is diminishing. Under whose leadership? Why, when there are successes, the president is credited? When there are failures, the president is not blamed. This is a great people, a great nation. Many nations invaded us, but this nation has remained. April 6th is a decisive day. God does not help anyone who doesn't help himself. God does not change the nation until the nation changes what is within them. As long as the public does not change, nothing will happen.
وفي نقابة الصحفيين احتشد المئات.
Hundreds of members of the press guild gathered, including the head of the Red Party, who was recently released, Ayman al-Noor. All of them had one demand: the peaceful change of the ruling regime. Prior to the demonstration, a statement entitled "The Cairo Announcement" was released by some Egyptian elites, calling for a structural agency. It will be presented to the Egyptian parliament to demand amendments to some constitutional laws. The most important are the laws allowing for political rights, parties, and all other laws organizing general freedoms for the Egyptian people.
اليوم يوم للغضب في مصر.
Today is a day of anger in Egypt. Today, the Egyptian people in all their colors and positions are expressing their anger towards the situation in Egypt. At the level of politics and economics, Egypt is living a difficult crisis and overcrowding. This is a result of tyranny and corruption. Today is the day of Egyptian anger to express our opinions and positions. This morning, we announced in the state parliament 10 demands under the title, The Cairo Announcement. These are demands for reforms in 2009. We announce from here and to the Press Guild that if there is no response to our 10 demands, we will announce and call for a comprehensive public strike in Egypt on April 6, 2010.
There are other partial participants who have been given individual freedom to carry out events in different places. There are people who say that there should not be just one day. For example, the doctors will hold a strike on April 9th in their private practices. Limiting our anger to one day is beneficial and good for focus. But the Egyptian people are angry all the time, all year round. Every hour of every day, the Egyptian people are angry about the deteriorating situation and the bad living conditions.
Today there were no clashes or violence like in previous years. The main reason for this is that the Egyptian security was able to prevent a number of previously scheduled large demonstrations. Anger has a limit from a security standpoint, but patience has a limit from the public's perspective. April 6 has become an annual Egyptian day for hundreds of people from various sectors of society. In opposition and angry, the people are demanding change after they grew tired of a political situation that has lasted for more than a quarter of a century.
استثناءات قليلة يعد اقتناء باقات الورود.
With little exception, buying a bouquet of flowers for the purpose of giving it as a gift or as a decorative item is considered to be a complementary commodity influenced by the financial status of each individual. To many, flowers are a complementary rather than a primary commodity, which caused many of them to wilt and dry out on store shelves due to the global financial crisis. This has affected all walks of life in Kuwait. Ahmad Al-Unaizi reports from Kuwait.
من الكويت.
Even those who sell beautiful things have been cursed by the global financial crisis, which has affected the performance of the vast majority of markets in Kuwait. Abu Yusuf, who owns a flower shop, has no reason to smile today, after losing many of his regular customers due to the financial crisis. This is what he has to say.
Business is very weak. The economic situation is very bad. As you can see, there are no customers in the shop and the streets are deserted. The economy in Kuwait has gone into a sleep mode. We are living amidst a recession. The crisis is not only affecting the flower business, but other businesses as well.
The sale of flowers in Kuwait has dropped nearly 60% after many flower companies and suppliers went out of business due to the financial crisis. Flower businesses were among the hardest hit markets in Kuwait due to the fact that flowers are considered by many as a complementary item, used in the decoration of offices, reception halls, and conference rooms.
Many customers have turned away from flowers. They are buying more durable gifts rather than flowers, which usually last a few days, then wilt.
Regardless, a flower will keep its beautiful name and smell, even after wilting or drying out on the store shelves. Between the global financial crisis and the living burden of the Kuwaiti citizens, who are trying hard to make ends meet, the owner of this flower shop says, "Oh flower, who can buy you?" Ahmad El-Anaizi, Dubai TV, Kuwait.
من العراق إلى الهند تنتقل عدوى قذف الأحذية على الساسة احتجاجا على
From Iraq to India, the fever of shoe hurling has found its way. This news comes after an angry Sikh journalist hurled a shoe at India's interior minister after a verbal altercation during a news conference regarding the 1984 riots, which left hundreds of Sikhs dead. The minister, who was able to dodge the shoe, smiled and asked the security officers to escort the journalist outside the conference room.
الصحفي خارج الغرفة. وننهي نشرتنا بخبر مسالم.
We conclude this news hour with a peaceful report. Israel has nominated a Palestinian doctor for the Nobel Peace Prize. Dr. Ezzeldin Abu al-Aish has lost 3 daughters in the latest Israeli aggression on Gaza, a tragedy that may lead him to winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Despite his tragedy, Abu al-Aish has vowed to continue to work for peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Al-Aish's nomination was announced by Israel's Minority Affairs Minister, Professor Avishai Braverman. Dr. Al-Aish said he will dedicate the Nobel Prize to the Palestinian and Israeli nations.
May God forgive and guide them. Amen.
Get more news about the Middle East online at linktv.org/Mosaic. The Mosaic webpage offers a complete archive of Mosaic programs, program transcripts, the Mosaic video podcast, and the Mosaic Intelligence Report, a weekly analysis of the hottest stories from the Middle East. The views expressed on Mosaic are those of the participating broadcasters, not Link TV or its sponsors. The production of Mosaic is made possible with the support of viewers like you. Thank you.
This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries, and diverse cultural programs which connect you to the world.